From the breathtaking to the shocking and to the joyous. The National Museum of African American History and Culture is a living catalog of the Black experience in the United States. But director Lonnie Bunch says it's not just a gallery of famous faces.
If we could reduce this down to human scale so that you could think about how your own family dealt with discrimination, rather than simply see as Martin Luther King leading a march, but rather that there were hundreds of thousands of average people who decided enough was enough, and that they provided the foundation that leaders stood upon. And I think that's our goal, is to really find that tension.
Start on the museum's lowest floor, and you're struck by this fact. The United States has always struggled to live up to its democratic ideals. All men are created equal, the opening words of the Declaration of Independence. It was written by this man behind me, Thomas Jefferson, the nation's third president. But Thomas Jefferson also represents the nation's inherent contradiction. He was also a slave owner, and each of the bricks behind his statue represent every man, woman, and child that he owned. 6 of those bricks represent his children, born by a woman who was also a slave, Sally Hemings. The 12 main exhibitions include artistic masterpieces and personal mementos, an original slave cabin, rock and roll legend Chuck Berry's Cadillac. So much material, so little space. But one of the architects says the time spent in just one gallery may be all some patrons need.
I hope that it ignites awareness in people, because when that happens, when people are aware, that's the first thing that's needed to help strengthen connections between people.
Now, there are some critics who say that a museum such as this one should not exist because it doesn't focus on the history of white people in the United States. Obviously, the officials of the museum say that's not true. They're simply presenting U.S. history through a different framework. And they say everyone, regardless of background, is welcome to come here to open their hearts and to learn. Lead architect Phil Freelon.
The notion that this museum is not just for and about American black folks. It's a story that resonates across the globe. And so people from Scandinavia, from the Far East, these stories and this culture has an impact well beyond our borders. So it is truly a quintessential American story that we think is relevant across the board, across many different cultures.
A tribute to a people who found a way to survive thousands of kilometers and hundreds of years away from their ancestral homeland. Rosalind Jordan,